Hey, what is going on now? This is going to be part 2 and the last edition for the Old Republic concepts for now. I want to get into creating other factions as well and also bringing out more light and dark side concepts. So yeah, let me go ahead and get right into the first concept leader. Hey, no surprise here. You know I went with another Sith Lord, this time Darth Malick. Now this guy started off as a Jedi with his buddy Revan and ultimately teamed up with him. But unfortunately, with the Sith Emperor recruiting him and Revan, they just became a deadly 1-2 punch for the Sith regime. He did wear a nice plate covering the bottom portion of his face, since his entire jaw was taken off by a lightsaber strike from Revan. But my question is, how was this guy eating? Seriously. But anyways, onto his abilities, Malick was able to employ a force choke on more than one enemy at a time. So I'd love to see that as a special skill where multiple organic units and leaders get lifted up and grab their throats while grasping for air. And I honestly think that should have been Vader's skill instead of the force pull that he has currently. But anyways, it would be good to see this kind of skill given to a Sith like Malick. Second up is Darth Malgus. Now, no Jedi background history here for this man. He was born evil and he stayed that way, joining a Sith Academy early on and learning the dark side of the Force. One quick story and scene about him which I thought was absolutely ruthless was how he killed his own master after he lost the battle with another Jedi, cutting him in half for his failure. Now that's just pure Sithery, and that would be like Obi-Wan finishing off Qui-Gon for losing to Maul. But just like Malick, he had to wear a respirator to cover his nose, mouth, and neck from injuries he sustained in a battle. During battles, he was almost perfect in lightsaber form, so he'd have to have a ridiculous high attack damage to start. Executing with his physical strength and speed, he was extremely imposing and difficult to defeat one-on-one. I'd love to see an ability for him where his speed is boosted like Finn's while defense is buffed like Kylo's. I mean, how would you even stop that, honestly? But it would be perfect for Darth Malgus. Alright, up next I'd like to introduce you to Darth Bane, the man who created the rule of 2, which indicated that there could only be 2 Siths at any given time. In order to avoid greed, he established only a master and apprentice that should be the only ones in the galaxy. Now, technically, he is considered canon since he did appear in Clone Wars, but the most of his story is relatively cut and considered canon. Not canon, I should say, but I did want to include him in this Old Republic edition based on his image in that era, not his Shredder lookalike appearance on the Clone Wars. As for his in-game stats, he had heavy armor to withstand a lot of damage, including lightsaber strikes, so he should and would instantly become the highest HP character for that reason alone. I think a taunt skill ability would be in order for him to kind of be this absolute tank, absorbing damage while boosting all surrounding units. Moving on to the final concept of this series is none other than Darth Revan. Jedi or Sith? I don't know. Since he was both, it would be good to see 2 different versions, but for this one, I made his concept card a Sith. I think if it did come down to a vote of creating an origins movie for any character in Star Wars, he'd be the guy hands down, and it's honestly really bizarre that he is not official canon, although that still remains to be seen. Now, regarded as the greatest warrior of his age and defeating the Mandalorians, it's without a doubt why this guy was deemed Revan the Butcher. One of his abilities was to manipulate the environment around him and thrash his enemies. Now that would just be crazy to implement something like that as his charge ability. So yeah, let me know some ideas for Revan's charge skill and what you'd like to see. Alright, well that's going to wrap it up for this edition and series for the Old Republic. Now this was definitely challenging for me to find good images to use for these concepts, but I think it turned out alright. Now it's a long shot for Netmarble to bring these characters out, but it definitely would boost the downloads and money invested in this game if they somehow did incorporate the Old Republic into the Force Arena. So let me know your thoughts on these and what are your favorites. Thanks as always for watching this video, and see you next time.